Did you know that in recent years more and more people have been talking about the acceleration of time, and you've probably noticed it yourself? Everyone notices that time seems to pass faster and something strange is happening with the flow of time. People manage to get less done than they used to, and scientists are already citing specific numbers. A modern day is equivalent to 17 hours, not 24. People at 45 now look the way people used to look at 35. For example, monks in a monastery on the holy island of Athos noticed this because they no longer have enough time for their prayers. For centuries, they have been reciting the same prayers, and now they can't manage to finish them all in a single day. And in the mountains of Tibet, there are monasteries where, every day at the same time, monks light candles that are supposed to burn for exactly one day. The technology for making these candles has not changed for hundreds of years. But at some point, the monks noticed that the candle no longer burns out completely in a single day.
This is honestly a really cool video. Seriously, I really like it. It's true.
How would you comment on that? There are two aspects here.
Go ahead.
First is the acceleration of physical time, and secondly, the change in time perception.
The perception of time? Yes, a person is an empathetic being. They still feel it. Whether they want to or not, as they say, they can truly feel it deep down. That's why the perception of time is actually intimately and directly linked to physical time. And yes, I absolutely confirm it. Time has definitely sped up. And I will explain exactly why this is happening. It's very simple. I've talked about this many times already. We are moving upward in terms of vibrations. Look, you and I filmed the previous Arayus about life after death. There you'll find links about the 40 days and so on and so forth. What did I say? In what way does time pass and flow there? Faster. Because it's at a higher vibration. And on higher planes, there are, after all, branches of reality on planet Earth. Together with Lera, my colleague and companion, we studied the branches of reality of planet Earth. We live on, to put it mildly, not the highest branch. There are even higher branches of reality, and there, time moves even faster. For example, on one of the higher branches of reality, it's already the end of the 22nd or 21st century. That is, it's already closer to the end there. Maybe the year 1000, or maybe not, maybe even 2000. It could be the year 2080 or 2070 there, while for us it's still just 2025. So right now, we're being pulled upward. You can clearly see it there, it's obvious. And it's just like that for everyone. As they say, don't take this for schizophrenia, but anyone who enters these branches of reality can see that we're being drawn upward. Our energy is being pulled upward. Roughly speaking, here's our branch, and here's the one above it. As of today, there is, so to speak, a plan to merge the higher branch with our branch to fuse them together. But it's higher and it has moved ahead. That is why their branch... This is incredibly interesting information. Their branch started to be slowed down, and our branch started to be sped up so that they would merge and come together. As they say,
the number one
into the other. This is purely an archic floor plan.
Who is doing this?
Architects. Architects of reality. That is, these are souls, who, as they say, work to maintain this enormous mechanism of planet Earth. Either an organism or a mechanism, whichever term you prefer here.
Interesting. Can any soul become an architect of reality? No.
Only those individuals who, as they say, are truly experienced. Experienced ones who are somehow uniquely able to connect with this topic.
Does experience depend on the number of lives?
On predisposition, on the number of lives. There are a lot of factors. It's one of those things. It's like with pianists. One person is an experienced pianist, right? From early childhood, they play perfectly, while another, even though, for example, they grow up in the same family, they might play differently or maybe not play at all, or they play so badly that, as they say, it would be better if they didn't play at all. It depends on many things, on past life experience, on the age of the spirit, on initial predispositions, and so on. Within this cycle that one goes through, both in the smaller subcycle and in the larger cycle. But souls who are usually architects are quite highly developed souls, quite experienced, with a rather old spirit. But not always. Interestingly, not always. That's how it is.
Well, I know that you remember your past incarnations, but do you remember the way that time used to flow in the higher worlds compared to here? In terms of your own perception, how exactly is it different?
If we're talking about truly higher worlds, which... Do you mean the higher branches of reality on our planet or entirely different worlds?
Well, why don't you tell us about both, whichever is more interesting?
Look, again, you know my practice, determining the age of the spirit using the system from 0 to 80. For those interested, the links will be, well, somewhere actually, no, below. They'll be below. Somewhere around here. I came to this planet already as a more or less developed spirit, more or less. So according to the 0 to 80 system, I was probably about 24 or so, somewhere around there. And the previous worlds and realms that I had, they were all, well, apparently much less experienced in their journey. So some worlds, even though they were higher in their spiritual vibrations, were simply a much more elevated and refined type of world. It doesn't mean that it's much better there. It's just that the energies are higher and more subtle. But even there's still deceit and some upheavals, just with the involvement of magic or, well, whatever else is in a higher world. Naturally, the connection with God is more direct, but strangely enough, is not exactly straightforward. There's no direct correlation that just because this world is higher than that one, everything in it is automatically purer and more harmonious. There is some correlation because the greater the connection with God, the more you feel a sense of transcendence that stops you from doing completely insane things. But overall, there isn't a direct correlation. And there were a number of worlds there. They're kind of high-level worlds. But I didn't really pay attention to the passage of time or anything else. I was occupied with completely different things there. For example, in one world, many, many lifetimes ago, many cycles ago, I was some sort of space pirate, so to speak, who was much more concerned with things like, say, Chewbacca, just moving something from one distant planet to another, not anything to do with time or anything else at all. So that's exactly how it was back then. And in another world, I was actually a truly massive dragon, a black, huge, fire-breathing one. I also did not truly concern myself with the passage of time, especially when it comes to dragons. In general, they live for an exceptionally long period of time. Their perception of time is significantly different and somewhat distorted compared to that of a human being, because we experience it very differently. And if we take the worlds specifically of this planet, for example, I had incarnations in Fairy Tale Rus. I actually have a whole comprehensive and separate series of written texts about Fairy Tale Rus. There, time is felt in a completely different way. It is perceived quite literally as matter. It is very dense. Time seems to move much faster, but at the same time, it is perceived directly as a continuous flow of energy. Perhaps, by the way, that's even because of its incredible speed, because, if something is moving very slow, you don't really notice its movement. It's just far too slow to notice. But if it's already fast, anything that's faster, we pay attention to it as if it's in such a... It flashes by, we notice it, something flashes by. Let's say a house is standing, but it's just standing there. We might not even pay any attention to it. But if your house suddenly started running around you in circles, grew giant chicken legs and started running away, well, you would definitely notice it much faster. Maybe that is exactly how it works. But in that place, time really felt like a heavy physical substance.
When you talk about time speeding up or slowing down, are you talking specifically about perception?
Of time? Perception?
So the Earth doesn't start moving faster or anything like that.
Exactly.
Physically, nothing changes, right? Or how do you reconcile that?
Physically, nothing changes, but time itself is like energy. Because time, after all, is still energy. And you can walk with it. Time can be sped up or slowed down. Probably almost everyone has seen this specific effect when, for example, just recently I had such a case in a restaurant. You see, I really love drinking fresh juice, particularly carrot juice. They brought me this huge glass. I knocked it over onto myself. It was completely full. There were 400 milliliters in it, I think. And there it goes, flying. I could actually see it. Like in slow motion. It was flying through the air. Time suddenly slowed down for me. I was just watching that glass. I realized there was nothing I could do because,
Matter can't keep up with...
Matter can't keep up with time, but time itself stops. But you can't
perceive it.
I was just sitting there watching it fly. It seemed to be in the air for quite a while. By my feeling, it was flying for about 20 seconds. Or so? Although in reality, only... Wow.
20 seconds.
Really? Well, yeah, in reality, only a fraction of a second passed, and that's it. It already fell down. And all the splashes...
It's like you become aware, yes, you stretch out time, but you can't do anything because physics is set for this time.
Well, you see, physics can't speed up. That is, it is actually something else that accelerates. Yes, physics doesn't speed up, but time speeds up, and time itself, the flow of time. You can speed up or slow down this energy. But in terms of physics, the planet will complete the exact same number of rotations around its axis. The Earth is still the same, everything is the same, but on the level of time, time will subjectively feel faster, and it actually does go faster objectively as well. That's exactly what we were talking about today. A human is an empathetic being. He picks up, very, very strongly picks up on all these processes, senses them, grasps them.
Very interesting. Thank you very much.
So guys, who here is interested in exploring the topic of time? Maybe even having the power to influence the flow of time itself. Maybe even being able to make time flows go faster or slower for yourself. Maybe even finding a way to somehow influence the process of aging. This is a new direction for us, how to influence aging through the higher self. Who's interested? Transcendental meditation. A path to reach the deepest depths, that is, to your own inner teacher. A path into pure experience without channeling, without anything else, purely through ancient techniques that were used in Advaita Vedanta, Dzogchen, and Buddhism. As they say, you are welcome. Join the school. Right now, there are 1,500 active students in the school, including the club, individual sessions, and group classes. Because the club itself is already, well, it's huge now, especially this year.
By the way, lifetime access, yes?
Lifetime. There are about 1,000 people in the club, which is actually very impressive. And I recommend everyone to join us. In July, there will be a new discounted group. If the video comes out a bit later, write to us anyway. We'll add you in regardless, and 1,000 spots because the next group will be in January, so you don't have to wait another 6 months. July, as they say, is just the right time. We invite everyone.
All the links are below this video.
My dear friends, for 10 years now, I've been teaching a course on the higher self for a Russian-speaking audience. During this time, about 4,000 to 4,500 people have passed through my school. I've been working on this topic for 20 years. Today, my school is one of the largest and most famous specialized schools for connecting with the higher self in the Russian-speaking world. And then I suddenly realized that it is finally time to reach out to the masses, so to speak. Yes, to the much wider world and to the incredibly vast expanse of the entire global internet. All the professional skills I have carefully developed, all the dedicated practices I have refined, and all the quick entries, thorough checks, and rigorous exams I have built over the last 10 years are now being brought to a truly global level. I now invite you to join a brand new, specially discounted group for the comprehensive Return to the True Self course, now available in English for students everywhere. 6 months of work on stopping the internal dialogue, working with blocks, and focusing on actually accessing the higher self. Answering both simple and complex questions regarding purpose, contact with God, and with the planet. Answering basically any questions on any topic, including work, relationships, and anything at all. Manifesting desires through the higher self, viewing past lives through the higher self, and everything that didn't fit into the first 5 months in a separate 6th one. And after that, you'll have the opportunity to join the alumni club, as well as the chance to continue your studies at the 2nd level of the school. The price for the discounted groups is discounted. You can find all the information about this below at the link under this video.